Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz Jr. were both put through their paces in front of a large New York crowd on Tuesday. The pair thoroughly entertained their fans with a little light workout 4 days before they're due to meet for the real deal at Madison Square Garden on the 1st of June. Ruiz stepped in with some 6 weeks notice after Joshua's original opponent, Jarrell Miller, tested positive for not 1, not 2, but yes, 3 banned substances. The Mexican-American lost his previous world title challenge when he suffered a majority decision defeat by Joseph Parker some 3 years ago. Now, I've said this before in videos about Andy Ruiz, is that looks ain't everything. There's no doubt that Joshua is something of a specimen when it comes to his physique, but unfortunately the same cannot be said about Andy Ruiz. AJ is likely to weigh as many as 30 pounds lighter than his challenger on Friday, and a side-by-side comparison between the two, you wouldn't give Ruiz a chance in hell. Ruiz has only gone the 12-round distance once in his career, but looked comfortable doing it in his defeat against Joseph Parker. Ruiz has stated in many interviews that he insists that his training regime is completely different now and that the people shouldn't take any notice of the flab. Now, this makes for an interesting fight for me because one of my questions about AJ's vulnerability is that he doesn't have the best gas tank. We've seen him gas out multiple times in fights, and we know that it takes him 2 or 3 rounds to recover from that kind of exertion. Andy Ruiz quoted, "Everyone is underestimating me because of how I look, but as soon as you see me let my hands go with the speed and the movement and the accuracy, they will see what I've really got." And let's not forget, Joshua himself has had his problems with stamina. As these fights entered the second half, it just remains to be seen who has the advantage. Going on both training sessions, I would say Andy Ruiz looks very relaxed. This may be the biggest fight of his career with a whopping $5 million payday, but Ruiz is showing no signs of nerves, even taking time out of his workout to take pictures for press and Mexican news. He seems surprisingly unfazed by the challenge that is ahead of him, and becoming the first ever Mexican heavyweight to capture a world title, the pressure is truly on. That being said, AJ will also feel his own type of pressure as he debuts in the States for the first time. And as Wilder has laid down the gauntlet with his 1-round destruction of Dominic Breazeale last week, the pressure will be on for AJ to perform. It's probably worth mentioning to all the Wilder fans out there that AJ versus Ruiz has done 3 times the amount of ticket sales as Wilder versus Breazeale. So what is my analysis on how I think this fight will go down? Well, it's a very interesting question. Stylistically, Andy Ruiz is a very good counterpuncher and tends to get off a lot of his shots in close range. I noticed that he's particularly dangerous while in a clinch or just moving out of a clinch. He tends to land very devastating short punches and hooks that are extremely accurate. A perfect example of him doing this was in the Parker fight. AJ is also no stranger to fighting on the inside and favours devastating uppercuts and hooks at close range. If Andy Ruiz is going to have any kind of success against AJ, he needs to be able to close down the distance very quickly. Unfortunately, I don't think Andy Ruiz has the footwork, speed to be able to close down that distance, and AJ will need to rely on his boxing ability to keep him at the end of the jab. Keys to success for Andy Ruiz will be using his smaller size and his blistering hand speed to get in and out quick, land powerful combinations and get out of the danger zone. The trick will be to really frustrate Joshua into getting into a dogfight. Then I feel that AJ could gas at some point during the early rounds, and then it could be a very interesting fight and we may even see an upset. AJ's key for victory will be to keep it long, keep it on the outside and use his boxing ability, use his superior height and reach to keep him on the end of a jab. When he comes in close, smother his work with the clinch, but keep your guard high when you come out of the clinch because Andy Ruiz really likes to throw short, sharp bombs at close range. Wait for your opportunity, then when the time is right, use your superior punching power to get him out of there. Yep, so I think it's a good fight. I think that it's an interesting fight. I look forward to seeing it. Good luck to both men. Hope both men are safe. So my prediction will be a 7th round stoppage for AJ, although I do feel he will be in some very sticky situations while Ruiz is quite fresh and quite sharp and maybe on the end of some stinging, flashy combinations. That being said, it's also worth mentioning that it's going to be a great night of boxing in Madison Square Garden, as the undercard is absolutely packed full of spot hot, great fights. It's definitely one of the best undercards that I've seen in a long time, with the likes of Callum Smith fighting, the likes of Josh Kelly fighting, the likes of Buatsu, the likes of Katie Taylor. It's definitely going to be a great night for boxing, and I'm very excited for the fighters to be fighting in Madison Square Garden. As we all know, it's the mecca of boxing, with such great names and the history of boxing that exists in Madison Square Garden. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think of the video? What do you think of my analysis? It's Pineapple Soda. Bless man, I'm out.